Red Dead Online versus GTA Online. Which is better? Which one should you play? Now I know for a lot of you, the answer is pretty clear, and I could definitely see some of you freaking weirdos typing your way in the comments section about how stupid I am, how trash I should. However, I think this video might leave you with something. Something to think about, and something to really consider at the end. So, stick to the end, I guess. Now, to make things clear, I played both of these games for a good while. While I played Red Dead Online the most, with it being my favorite out of the two personally, because, I mean, who... Yeah, pretty sure that's self-explanatory. I've also played GTA Online, mostly for about 3 years, and with some hiatuses from both of these games, because there have been times I've deleted the game for like a year or two and then never come back to it, then later come back to it, and whatnot and what have. But as time went on, I've come to not only understand and experience both of these games equally, but I've also come to love both of these games equally for what they are at the core value. And while I do have a personal I guess you could say, quote-unquote, bias, for lack of a better term, for Red Dead Online, since that was the first ever Rockstar online game I ever played. But, you know, just a game that actually enticed me more than GTA. That doesn't change the fact that GTA isn't really a bad online live service game, and it's fun, and I love it for what it is at its core value. And like I said, the same can be said for Red Dead Online. However, for this video, if you haven't read by the title, I won't be biased. And the reason why I won't be biased is, for one, because I want to be fair, constructive, concise, and, you know, not be lenient towards one argument or the other. And two, this video is overall here to inform you guys and to have you think which between the two. And the ending may surprise you, but we'll see which. Now, without me yapping, because I do a lot of exposition here, and without further ado, let us finally get into the video. Now, I think we can all agree that both of these games have reached large amounts of popularity, at least to some capacity. While GTA Online may win in the conversation, Red Dead Online is no slouch either, and is carried by the amazing crafted intricate base game Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm pretty sure we all know this, and it's very self-explanatory, but even still, it's good to relay this information. I mean, you know, GTA Online has had such a huge impact, not only in the gaming space, but just in general, a lot of, especially when it comes to social, like the GTA name alone speaks so much popularity and volumes, and the online version just added to that brand, to that popularity. And I think with GTA Online being so successful, it was bound to have a sort of potential successor in the future. And obviously, this came in the form of Red Dead Online, which could have been not only a rival but also perhaps surpassed GTA Online just a quality of said content if Rockstar put the time to really give it the care and love that they did for GTA Online. Unfortunately, we all know the story, blah, 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 Rockstar abandoned the game, the grading, go, yada, 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 whatever. Listen, we're not here to talk about that, okay? I'm saving that for another type of video. Right now, we're here to talk about, between the two, which is better? Which should you play? And so, I think in order for us to really tackle this point, it has to come down to these key major categories, these points, these subjects, I guess you could say, of what I believe we needed to tackle in almost detail to really express and explain and articulate which video, I said video, or messing up, huh? Video, huh? It's a video game, which game you should play out of the two and which one is overall better. And these that I personally figured might be the most, you know, hard hitting has come down to these key points: gameplay, experience, character customization, world, content, and community. Now, those seems to be a little more lengthy, and trust me, by God, it is. But bear with me for a second, okay? Now, I won't be going in order with any of these bad boys. I'm just gonna go off the fly. And as y'all know, I don't really script my videos, and I might make a video in the future talking about why I don't script any of my videos. And at the very least, I have like an outline or some sort of introduction to follow. But that's besides the point. Today, we're just gonna be tackling any of these points, and I think the best place to start off would be the most simplest place is. Now, obviously, in an online live service game, especially a game similar to this, to the similar magnitude of GTA and Red Dead, you need to be able to customize your character, a character that you're going to enthrall and thrust and immerse in, that you're going to build gradually as you go through the world of said online live service world, whether it be linear or open, stuff like that. Most of the time, these kind of games tend to be open world when they have you customize your character, and so. Popular examples of this is, of course, Red Dead Online, GTA Online. You have Hogwarts Legacy, even the Dragon Ball games and Naruto games have taken a shot at this. Any other S-related games related to that, they've all had some sort of character customization where, you're enthralled and, all these things. So it comes down to how the customization operates, how does it affect the experience of the person, and, which one is overall better of the two. And while I could have just condensed it and just been quick with this, I need to make this video kind of long because, runtime. Let's be real, guys. Red Dead Online has the superior, customization, bro. There's no debate. It's no debate. If someone's going to sit up here, it's some GTA tard, some GTA nerd, some GTA basement dweller, it's going to sit here and argue that the customization in GTA Online is better than Red Dead Online, then they are smoking meth, crack, and cocaine, and they need to seek a psychiatrist. I'm not joking. I am not trolling, gang. I'm not trolling. They need to seek a psychiatrist. Because how are you going to sit up here and tell me that the ability for you to not only change your race, right, a specific race, change the body weight, change the width of the cheeks, the width of the bones, the depth, the nose, the eyes, the eye color, the hair color, the facial structure, the type of face you have, the eyebrows, everything, blemish, features on your face, age, right, tiredness, energy, etc., etc. So all these intricate, small little details that make up your character in the complexity it is. You gotta tell me that is not as good or worse than GTA Online's customization, where all you gotta do is pick two characters, do hair change, then you're done. Come on, bro. I mean, gang, we can literally make the Red Dead Redemption 2 cast in online. We can't even do it. We can barely do that in GTA. Get the frick out of here with your bullcrap. So yeah, when it comes down to customization, let's be real, guys. Red Dead got it. Okay, you're gonna see that this is gonna be sort of like a one up, one down kind of situation here going forward. So with character customization out the way, I think it's best we start tackling another key point in this discussion that I feel like might actually, be worth exploring, and that would be the world. Now, the world in both of these games are unique, and well, not wasn't unique, but they're more so special and hold a special place in people's hearts in their own way. You have the bustling, iconic, amazing recreation of Los Angeles, California, and in the custom city Los Santos in GTA, which was also just expanded off of GTA San Andreas's LS, and within this world, it's a pretty typical standard city, right? And many people don't mind the modernization. To be fair, I do enjoy the city of Los Santos. It encapsulates Los Angeles in the greatest way. Be it, I haven't really seen Los Angeles, but you know what, we ain't gonna talk about that. But it feels very immersive, right? People are out here doing their thing. You have a wide variety of stuff to do. Driving around in Los Santos is a nice thing, especially when you just listen to music. It's a kind of calm time. And then when you even go out to the mountains, it's a pretty cool thing too, especially with all the Easter eggs and stuff you can find there, and all the races and all that stuff. And while I'm not gonna get too much into the content you can do, because that's gonna be in its own little thing. Some of the content you could do is pretty cool there. And so I think, with Los Angeles, especially with how type of game it is, or at least the genre of the game it is, right? The setting of the game and what the cities is, it operates and sets well in what they're trying to do. But there is obviously the caveat or the con that at the end of the day, yeah, this is a cool satire, finalized, cool simulated version of Los Angeles, but I could always go to California, Los Angeles, and visit it that way, or experience it that way, regardless. It's just one of those. It's one of those games. One of those things where, like, it's not anything too fictional. It's still Los Angeles, and at the end of the day, gang, I can just ride there, bro. Like, I can hop on the plane and get there, bro, and experience it for myself, bro. Like, why I gotta play a game for that? You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where, like, yeah, it's cool to play a game about it, but you go have to experience it yourself. Now, what makes the Red Dead world so enticing and intrinsic and intricate? Well, first of all, just off of the base game, the story mode, the world of Red Dead Redemption 2 is so vast. And I say this to say, now, being frank, yes, GTA 5, or at least GTA Online's map as well, is vast and it's pretty big, but it's confirmed that the Red Dead map is bigger. The Red Dead 2 map is bigger than GTA 5's. And let's be real, guys. One of them came out just recently. Or the other one came out like 15 years ago, guys. And one of them was going to look better than the other one. And one of them was going to have much more detail than the other one. And that's where I think the line draws between the two. While these two are both open world games, they're very vast and they hold a lot of stuff in them. The quality and the amount is where it changes. And obviously the atmosphere and direction and all that junk. So with Red Dead's map and the world, especially with the world Red Dead Online, it has a much more calmer, mature, slower pace feel to it, but it still pertains that cowboy Wild West within it. And it also encapsulates the dying days of that day, so well, but also still has the remnants intact, which I think really helps elevate the experience when it comes to the world of Red Dead Online, which I'll touch more on the experience later on in my other sections. And I think overall, you just get a lot more detail, right? Like, there's a lot more biomes in Red Dead than there is in GTA. There's a lot more detail and realism and all these intricate, stuff in the game that the creators of Rockstar took so much time, love, and care to craft to the perfection it is. Obviously, quote unquote, because nothing's ever perfect, but in this case, it is. Contrasted with GTA, where most of the experience is going to be handled in the city. You're not really exploring out there because there's nothing really interesting going on out there during the mountains and all the other open world areas of the GTA 5 map aside from Los Santos, right? Contrast that again with Red Dead, where you can go any other place and they all have something to do. There's something to be done there, whether it's story mode or online, and obviously in this specific case online. It's just such an amazing crafted world, and there's way more animals to be sought out and actually, dwelled in and hunted in. There's a lot more features and stuff like that. Like, the interactivity of the world alone is very, very expendable, and surpasses to an extreme capacity whatever the hell GTA got going on. No offense, GTA fans. I'm gonna play GTA. I'm a GTA fan to extent myself, but we gotta face the facts. Red Dead Online got it when it comes to the world. Okay, the world is so amazingly well crafted, and another thing that can definitely give it a huge leg up from GTA goes back to the point I made on the con when it comes to the map, was the fact that the city isn't anything really special per se, because it still takes place in modern times, and I can always travel to Los Angeles. What sets Red Dead apart is the fact that Red Dead Online takes place during the past, and considering that we're not like 100-plus-year-old or 200-plus-year-old people, which very rare, and let's be real, none of us are. We never lived during the 1800s, during the days of the Wild West, during the dying days of the Wild West. We never lived during that time. So we can only imagine exactly how it really truly was like to that experience. Yeah, we got mouth of word. Obviously, time has passed, and it's been adopted and such, right? And yes, we have so many documentaries, photographs, videos, even, all these things that help us give the most best way possible of how life was during the 1800s to the best capacity. But we could never really truly experience or really learn how it truly, fully was to really experience that time. And while in a way you could say the same thing for a lot of movies and video games, at least they're able to hone in on those aspects to make the people feel real in this time frame that is so commonly known and beloved, especially when it holds one of the greatest periods, not only just media and entertainment, but just in history in general, the Wild West era. So, because of that factor alone, the mystique, the mysterious factor of, the ability that, the reality that, like, I'm technically playing a piece of history inside a simulation. And the reality is, you could never really go back in time to experience this because, for one, number one, we can't do time travel. Number two, we never lived in that era. So it sort of acts as like a relic of the past that we're experiencing in modern times. And it gives it that weird, like mysterious feeling, that mystique to it that adds more to the experience of the world. And the fact that it's just beautifully crafted and it's so immersive, it makes you feel like you're living in those times. So off of that factor alone, this point really helps excel on the world. Now, at the end of the day, this is kind of a toy cost, right? People love the GTA map for what it is, and people love the original map for what it is. And overall, I'm gonna give it to the Red Dead map again and Red Dead because while this one could be much more of a dejected point, there is obviously much more done with the world of Red Dead than there have been with the world of GTA. Now, granted, yes, GTA came out like 15 years ago, whatnot, and it was on the older engine, yada yada yada. But let's be real, bro. Do you really care? I mean, the junk still gets updates despite GTA 6 around the corner. So, like, I don't know why we're even yapping about. So yeah, Red Dead got it on the map, like 10 times. I mean, it's literally just the same amazingly crafted map of the story, just ported over to the Red Dead Online version. Same way how the GTA 5 map is just ported over to GTA Online map. The only thing I can really give for the GTA map world would be the addition that they added for the Cayo Perico heist, where you're on an entire new island, which I will also get to that when I go to the contents more specifically. But the factor in the matter is they did add an island that you can always visit anytime you want. And in that island, there's a little sub-hub world, And while there's not a lot to do because it's very small and you can't really explore it, the fact that they even added an entire new map does help elevate it. And Red Dead Online is only stuck to the main map of the U.S. despite it having 2 extra maps that they could easily port over with more content if Rockstar really had the balls to actually do the thing and finally update the game properly, like Warm in Mexico. But aside from all that, that's the only real leg up you could also get for GTA, for the GTA map, is that the Cayo Perico Island is an addition that really helps elevate and at least fresh enough to experience a little bit more, adding some extra level of exploration. But the con to that would be the fact that the only real explorable area is the party area, and once you go out to the rest of the island, it's mostly stuck to a mission wall where you sneak around. So it's not like you can't really explore it like how you could in the mainland of GTA Online's map. So again, even with that, I'm giving it to Red Dead. I'm gonna stop yapping. I'm gonna continue on further to my other points, and I think now the best time to talk about coming off of character customization world would be game. Now the gameplay for both of these games are very similar. And for good reasons. I mean, they have the similar controls, the mission structure is similar. They almost are par for par. Of course, however, what really separates them is not only the time setting that these gameplay settings are within, but also the approach to these settings and mechanics, and also the overall experience and quality of these gameplay. For GTA's gameplay, it's very fast-paced and has a full emphasis on fast-paced, satire, chaos, action, fun. And for that style of game, it works. And there's nothing wrong with that. Even I have fun doing it. It's what makes GTA Online such a special thing too, because with all the crazy new gadgets and weapons and cars and stuff like that they added to the game, it does help expand on that aspect. However, it does come at the cost of the original intent of a GTA game, because in recent times GTA Online has gotten criticism of being too much like some other kind of game than being a simple GTA live service game, which, to be fair, they wouldn't be really in the wrong for such, because yeah, it has gone out of hand. It has spiraled out of hand. I mean, we're taking out AI, AI, Grand Theft Auto, about you taking down AI that's gonna take over the world. So when this become the Fast and Furious. However, the gameplay for GTA Online is not that bad. It's basic. It's simple. It has some complexity, obviously, because it's a Rockstar game. But it's also easy to understand. You have your interaction menus. We could do some of your emotes. You could definitely purchase your stuff, bosses, all that junk. You can, start your own business and all that junk. And, that's going to be more an experience as content area. But you're going to have like a lot more interactions to do, obviously. People could get in your car, get out of your car. Typical things. It plays as a GTA game would play typically, just adds things to it, and nothing wrong with it. Overall, is on the super premise of it being a GTA game, and it just works how it works always. So again, you can't really be wrong with it, or you can't really be mad at it in any way, shape, or form. However, the downside to this is it does come off a little too cartoony. It does come off a little bit too simplistic and basic, and it lacks a lot of, especially in hindsight, we would play Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead Redemption Online and go back to, GTA Online. It definitely loses a lot of the quality of the experience when it comes to the gameplay, which again, I will talk more experience later on. And so, because of that, I think that's what could probably set, it back from it being such a huge thing. However, for the type of game GTA Online is, it definitely works for its fast-paced satire, fun, chaotic gameplay that's mostly simple and nothing too complex. Even the combat itself is a little bit simplified, but not to the extent. But the best thing you could say is that it does look pretty cool. Now, when we get over to Red Dead, and this can even go to the to the game as a whole. Red Dead Online has some of the most newest animations, the most detailed, realistic, and intricate movements and gameplay you will ever experience in your life. Like, the amount of things you can do in the game and how the character in the gameplay reacts to it is unique, right? The mechanics of the gameplay, such as, you only be able to hold on to like 2, 3, 4 weapons at a time instead of having a full arsenal in your back pocket, is an interesting take, but it does help, bring a lot more tension and challenge to combat scenarios, especially which require guns. Because you got to think about which guns you want to take. You got to remember to bring out the guns. And then a cool detail added to the gameplay is if you have a heavy gun on your hand, you want to take out your pistol, they would just hold it down. That adds a lot of realism and layers to the combat scenarios. And obviously, all the mechanics in the gameplay, such as you jumping over, which could be similar to the dodge roll, but this is like what the late 1800s, so I guess the dodge roll wasn't really a thing like that. So you just like jumping over cover, right? How enemies react, to bullets and other effects in in real time. The actual depth of the combat, despite it being simple face value, has a lot of complexities and a lot of maneuvers you can take in the combat that's not really too commonly explored. Is amazing, and I had touched upon a lot of these aspects on my Red Dead Online video, specifically the part 2 version, my successor video to my Red Dead Online video, on how I talked about how Rockstar could have and still can save and made Red Dead Online. But here, it really just helped elevate the gameplay experience, and the gameplay in general with all the new mechanics added. Plus, you have the ability to clean your weapons, right? Your characters react when your gun is dirty, or to try to keep your guns clean at all times, between the water, stuff like that. They react almost realistically to bullets and stuff like that. The effects happen, right? Everything has weight and impact, and it feels more realistic and immersive because of that. The gameplay mechanics and the gameplay itself definitely surpasses in terms of quality, detail, animation, even to an extent experience, which again I'll go on to further in the video. really helps elevate that and puts it at a high standpoint from GTA Online. And right now, it does come off that, Red Dead Online is winning a lot of these cases. And to an extent, I mean, can you really blame it? Red Dead Online is, of course, the newest game and had a lot more care and detail and thought put into it than GTA Online did. Even still, though, not if I count this yet. Again, this one is also a toy cost at the end of the day because people can experience, people can like the more added complexity, realistic, weighted, immersive, slower paced, maturer aspect gameplay of Red Dead, especially Red Dead Online, or they can enjoy the more simplistic, chaotic, fast paced, fun aspect of GTA Online. In terms of quality and overall animation mechanics, I will again give it to Red Dead Online for the fact that just off of those factors alone, it heavily, okay, it heavily surpasses GTA Online's mechanics and gameplay. But there are, of course, certain mechanics that are in GTA Online that I also am unknowledgeable of. And at the end of the day, GTA Online has its own place to heart. So at the end of the day, it really just is a torn cost and a more subjective opinion. But I think off of this, I'm gonna give it to Red Dead Online. Now we covered world, we covered customization, and we covered gameplay. So what's next on the agenda? Off the bat, we all know who's winning in this conversation. It's no debate at all whatsoever. But before I do obviously drop the no shocker bombshell of who won, we do also need to, at the end of the day, explain why this is the case. And to do that, let's start by tackling the similarities in content of what these two games, Red Dead Online and GTA Online, possess, and then diverge into where they differentiate in the quality, the amount, and all the other things that will be discussed in this topic. The similarities in both of these are surprisingly similar. For starters, they have contact missions, they have elements of story missions in there, they have shootouts, they have races, they even have a call to arms slash wave like thing going on too. And they both have their Telegram missions or their, certain way version of Telegram missions incorporated within, their respective games. For example, obviously in Red Dead Online, you just have to open the Telegram missions, then you do a variety of certain missions related, to that, which all revolve around doing criminal activities and robberies and doing outlaw stuff. While underwhelming, it does, of course, adds those elements in. You can also incorporate blood money missions in there too, because they do also contain some of that too. But the blood money is more like a dreamified, realized version of Telegram mission. So it's like not even really all that, I guess. But for GTA, it has Martin and all the Martin related missions, which contain some of those elements as well. And in both of these missions, you do criminal escalated activities and you get paid for those activities, and they're all handled by a certain someone. The way how they go about it is obviously different due to the time setting, but there's that. Now, that is as far as I can think of where the similarities are present within the games. Obviously, there's varying levels of quality, and obviously there's somewhat difference in which they perform due to the time setting, obviously the mechanics, how the releases of the game, and the engine and stuff like that, etc., etc. However, it is no denying the fact that it does contain a similar core element of how the gameplay or how those game modes function. Now, where the differences lie is heavily, okay? With Red Dead Online's difference, one of the key standouts would be the role system. The role system is unique and innovative and a step up of an experience in that regard than to GTA Online, because what the role system does is not only changes the way how Red Dead Online is played, but it all tackles core functions and elements of the game. For the collector role, for example, it tackles the exploration, where you have to explore the vast world of Red Dead Online to search for certain items and collect them in a set to return to the role keeper or captain of that role, Madanazar, to, gain profit from that. And then you have the trader role, which all more focuses on you hunting for your camp and spending the camp resources and stuff like that. Then you have the moonshiner role, which focuses much more on the business sort of escalator role, the more criminal aspect of that role, and even it holds a entire new cinematic story to it, which is finished, and it's also a blast to play through as well, adding more expendable content and changing up certain beats that you wouldn't really see in GTA like that per se. And then you have the naturalist role, which requires much more on a scientific version of hunting, where you gather samples to bring to Harriet. However, it also acts as an extension to the trader role as well, which is also something pretty cool. And then you have the infamous bounty hunter role, which not only focuses on more of the combat scenarios, but also is one of the highlights of this game when it comes to the role system, with you not only having a lot more cosmetics and items to purchase and stuff like that, and even owning a bounty wagon, but the missions themselves are low-key pretty fun a lot of times, and you gain a good amount of money from doing that, which is one of the best profitable and fun ways to play the games. Those are the major key standouts. There's probably others, like the overall the function of call to arms and other kind of content that I probably leaving out because it's been a minute since I last played Red Dead. Those unfortunately don't hold up. And what I mean by they don't hold up is over time, the average player would eventually get bored of playing Red Dead Online, because due to the fact that Rockstar had unfortunately abandoned the game and just refused to update the game properly with high quality content to be added, is going to grow stale and stagnant over time. And because it's going to grow stale and stagnant, it often results to a decrease in player hours and player time, because it's going to feel repetitive. You're not going to be doing anything new. And while there are some fun things to do, it's not enough to keep the players suspensed in the game long-term wise. Contrast that with GTA, where it has business you can buy out, businesses to own, heists, a lot of them, mind you, businesses type of missions, like for example the contract, where it's not only an entire new story being added there, but it also changes up a lot of the mission structure and for the experience. You have underground local businesses you can be a part of, like the LSD or the LSL, or that one car thing. You guys know what I'm talking about. I forgot what it's called, but it's that one underground car business where you guys try out these cool cars, these for illegal stuff, and then you can use those parts and buy out special, cosmetics for your own vehicles when you go into the garage to customize them. And there's way more content added to this game that I can list off because there's so much done. Like they have even parts of the missions from Red Dead carried over, like bounty hunter mission. You can also run in drug dealing businesses and stuff like that. All these crazy stuff. GTA Online holds a lot more content to where the average consumer would not get bored for a very long time. And because of that, it helps solidify its player and its player bases, because a lot more people are going to have fun playing GTA Online for a lot longer than it would on Red Dead Online, because there's a lot more to do. And while yes, you would get bored over time, due to the amount of stuff, and sometimes it might get repetitive and stagnant over time, especially because of the grind, because my gosh, the grind can get very grindy. But due to the amount of action and fast paced and awesome and chaotic and all these crazy stuff that is occurring, it's pretty hard for you to just get bored per se of GTA Online, especially for a long while. So you're gonna be enjoying yourself for a long time, unlike unfortunately Red Dead Online. And so this is why GTA Online finally, halfway to this damn video probably, I don't know, gotten the first dub on the content. Now, we've covered most of the major heavy hitters that have been occurring. However, we're not done yet. We still got some things to go. And I think the best place would definitely be community. Now, the community for both of these games is, I think it's something that is definitely worth talking about. Now, why would community be worth something talking about? Well, the community is what really helps drive the incentive to buy which or which. And both of these games hold opposite sides of the community in various ways. While your average experience on Red Dead Online when it comes to the community would definitely be much more peaceful and like something related to this. I'm hating it. The average experience of GTA Online would be something like this. See, I just don't understand. Why? Why? Bro. Yeah, one of them really makes you feel welcome in a home and that, is a very constructed and well-structured community. Or the other is to feel you ready to start World War A, you want to start killing people and start with. So, because of that, it really helps place an emphasis on how people are going to really react to certain communities and how that's going to dictate whether or not they want to buy Red Dead Online or GTA Online. And this just goes even further beyond to tackle GTA 8 first, because my lord, is that game in people trouble. It's been renowned a lot for being toxic, and for good reason. I mean, like I said, the average experience for a player is going to get griefed the frick out of, and there's going to be a lot of trash talking and abuse talking, and it just won't stop with it. And it doesn't help for the fact that there's a bunch of 5-year-olds who are eating Cheetos and freaking pretzels and puffs in the freaking microphone and won't shut the frick up and are yelling at their moms to give them their credit cards so they can buy shark cards for barely any regular cards. And that the game is definitely honing in on just chaos and fun and way too much action. And there's always World War VIII happening when you spawn in. The community for GTA Online has gotten so bad to the point where people are opting to play offline. Not necessarily offline so they're going to story mode, but they're playing online in private servers. How does that work? That should be a huge red flag when you know that your own online game, live service game, majority of the players or a good chunk of the player base is opting to play in private servers than with other players. It kind of defeats the whole purpose of a online live service game if you're not interacting with anybody else around the world online. And not to say that you can't have your own private sessions and you can have your own sessions where you can invite your friends, but if people are generally, just going to play on offline service because they don't want to deal with the community in regular online service, then there's a problem. And clearly, it's indicating a much more toxic community there. Now, not saying that everybody's like that, and obviously when you look at other places, people are definitely not like that as well. But on average, when it comes to the actual game itself, it doesn't seem to really, showcase that it really is. Now, in my personal experience, it has sort of lightened up a little bit, but not to the extreme measures, especially when on PC. Heck no. And this even goes into the missions themselves, because while not everybody, and there are going to be people who will be willing to help you out, a lot of times just trying to find someone in a session for anything can be hard and time consuming, especially if it's one of the older missions that majority of the player base has already finished because they've been playing the game for a while or since the game has come out. And that's just the beginning of the problem. The second half of the problem would be that if you do by any chance find someone, which would take a while, now you gotta hope that they're not ass or they're not being jackasses, because they might intentionally fail you the mission because they don't have anything to do and are unemployed basement dwellers. They don't have girlfriend and are still a virgin and they felt the touch of a woman. So GTA Online's community really might deter a lot of people from wanting to even get the game. If they do, quickly switch over to a much more private session because they don't want to deal with all the BS that happens in the actual online servers of GTA Online. But when we get into Red Dead Online, there's a definitely heavy different side. For starters, there's no private servers or close friend sessions, which it's bad because people will like to play alone and not with other people, or they like to play with their close friends in their own little server and not to worry about other people. But you know, right as of right now, it doesn't really matter too much because the community overall in Red Dead Online is much more calmer and, dare I say, much more mature than it is in GTA Online. Like I said, your average experience with all these people in Red Dead Online is going to be much more kind and welcoming. And while yes, you do got your griefers and annoying people and people who intentionally fail the mission there, it's far few than compared to GTA Online. And another thing that helps excel Red Dead Online's community and might be one of the main drives and incentive for people to play Red Dead Online over GTA Online would be the fact that many people are just kind and welcoming, will even help you out in certain scenarios. And if you're looking for missions to do, 9 times out of 10, or at least 8 times out of 10, maybe 7 times out of 10, you're going to find someone who actually has a brain and is not no 5-year-old eating Cheetos and puffs and stuff like that on the microphone, or not just shutting up and not screaming at their moms for shark cards and then steal their credit card numbers. It's crazy. I know. Real people actually interacting with other real people in a simulation. Who could have thought that's a possibility? So, off of those things alone, the community for Red Dead Online really holds a huge superiority and just overall is much more appealing than community in GTA Online. And because of those factors and points alone and harnessed, Red Dead Online, it wins this conversation without a doubt. And yes, you could be like, oh, but people might enjoy the toxicity and stuff like that. Oh, that's fine. That just proves a lot more about you than the community itself, because you are the problem. I'm sorry, you're the problem. No hate. I'm just saying, like, it's just the truth. Like, if you enjoy toxic communities, who hurt you mentally? I just want to know. So, Red Dead Online wins this conversation without a doubt. And a discussion, no further points. And so, with the community pretty much done and excelled, there is one more thing we need to talk about that I have been holding off throughout this entire video for the last part that I'm pretty sure a lot of you were expecting me to talk about earlier, and I kept accidentally mentioning or briefly mentioning, and that is the ultimate thing that I think really would help finalize people's decisions whether to pick between the two, and that would be experience. An experience is something that many humans across the world, whether it be in books, movies, TV shows, video games, or even real world interactions, is timeless and something that's very crucial and important to us as human beings. And for video games, it's no different, especially online video games. A lot of people's experience in gaming have changed them in many ways, and has helped excel their love for the medium, myself included. In the case of Sonic 06, not so much. And when it comes to online games, that is not only in a somewhat old world, but also still pertains those same principles and aspects that makes it have an experience so much entertaining, indwelling, and personal to latch onto. The experience for both of these games can vary between the two of them, and this is probably the most subjective it has ever been. But honestly, the reality is the experience for both of these games are, at the end of the day, special. The Red Dead Online experience can be something, again, more mature, relaxed, yet fun, and you can have a hell of a good time playing Red Dead Online. From the overall Western atmosphere and the overall Western feel of the game to some of the content you can do, the more personal connection with your characters, the clothes, the stores going into, the buying all the clothes, the weapons, customizing your weapons, fishing, hunting, shootouts, doing roles, interacting with your friends, playing the game with your friends. It's all very special, and it all is so cinematic and feels like a movie sometimes that really helps elevate the experience, and it really helps hone in on a lot of these key points. And the world itself even helps add to that factor of the experience, because the world is so enticing and enriched that it also adds to the experience. Experiencing the vast world of Red Dead Online is beautiful because you explore many different biomes and can roleplay and feel attached to all these biomes. And a cool aspect about both Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead Online is that it helps you feel more close with nature in a weird sense, despite it being a virtual world. And to topple this off, the interactivity of the world is in its own right so intelligent and enriching. Even though it's limited, and I've also touched about this in my Red Dead Online video where I talked about how Rockstar could have and still can made and save Red Dead Online. One of the greatest aspects of Red Dead Online is the random encounters where you're just traveling across the world of Red Dead Online and you can get into a random encounter. While it's much more freaking in story mode than it is in Red Dead Online, the fact that it can still happen in online also adds more to the believability of the world, make it feel much more immersed and experienced. And that's why the experience of Red Dead Online is so loving. And in a way, GTA Online's experience is also very telling and enriched. While it definitely caters to a different audience and has a different atmosphere and tone, the experience can be something sometimes nice and calming, like driving around Los Santos on a nice time, whether it be in the morning or the evening or nighttime in the game, listen to music, whether off your Spotify, your phone, or even the game, or partaking in missions with your friends, variety missions, and of course role playing with your friends in GTA Online, and overall doing a bunch of these things, especially missions, help bring a much more cinematic movie-like feel to it, which helps elevate the experience. Overall, both of these games contain experiences that are timeless, and for years they will continue to become timeless, at least I believe so, because of how integral and important they are to so many people in their hearts, me included. And as someone who's played both of these games on both sides and recognized both the pros and cons for both of them, I'm confident to say that for the first time in this video, both of these games get a point equally. Obviously, one is bigger than the other. I mean, come on, it's right there. But it really helps show that, at least in this conversation, I think we can all agree both sides, even the tards on both sides, can agree that the experience for both of these games are equally well and are not only subjective as well, but also they hold a special place in people's hearts, respectfully, equally. Whether you play both of these games or one of these games, they left you a lasting impression, experience, and feeling. And then something about them always makes you come back to them. And one of those leading factors is the experience. And because of that, that's why they both deserve a point. Because the experience of these games are timeless. And they will continue to be timeless for years to come. Now that we've covered everything in this video, it's now time to come down to the million-dollar question. Which game is better between Red Dead Online and GTA Online? And which one should you play? Now, a lot of you might think I'm going to pick GTA Online. A lot of you might think I'm going to pick Red Dead Online. And to be honest with you, what I'm about to say is going to be surprising. Some of you might already knew I was going to say this due to some context clues in the earlier section of the video. But my final verdict for which one you should play is, and which one is better, is either. Whatever you prefer. The reality is, guys, there is no necessary wrong or right answer to which one is better between both GTA Online and Red Dead Online. People enjoy Red Dead Online for the more Western feel, the more mature, slower pace, relaxed, realistic, immersion, weighted gameplay and experience of the game. And while yes, it has a lot more detail and care, love put into the world, and even some of the other aspects of the game, that's just part of the experience that many people might cater to more and might find more appealing. And then you have people who enjoy the much more simplistic, fast-paced, action-heavy, Fast and Furious, cinematic-wise, even though they're both cinematic-wise, crazy, fun experience in gameplay and enjoyment of GTA Online. And for that alone, it's fine. The reality is, everybody has their own preference. There is no wrong or right answer between which one is better, because at the end of the day, they're both good for what they are at the core value. And while yes, there is some sort of objectivity to which one is better, which one should you play first or whatnot, at the end of the day, they both have both cons and pros equally that help give them the charm that they have and deserve. And let's be real, if Red Dead Online had much more update and love and care by Rockstar Games and was at the same level of content than GTA, then the conversation would be much more equalized than how it is now. But even with that in mind, it still isn't as important and as valued as it is right now because, again, people have their own preference. And in the world of where we live in and in gaming, the only real verdict, the only real right or wrong answer you can have for any game would be what you believe is the wrong or right answer. What you think is the right thing to play and which one you think is better is your choice. Because it is you who decides on what you play and what you do not play. And whether you believe to please people or believe on your own volition. And because of that, there is no wrong or right answer. Which is better? It's up to you. Anything you prefer. And for that, if I were to really give it an actual final verdict, because I mean, gotta make this video, I'd say neither. Both. Either. My suggestion is you play both of these games equally and give your own verdict. But whether you choose to or not is up to you. And so we reach the final part of the video, which is the, unironically, outro. So that's conclusion. What? Wow, that was a video, guys. I was not expecting it to go this way. Frankly, I wasn't expecting to be able to really craft something like this, and I was expecting a lot more of inconsistencies in a way, similar to like my more informative, long essay-like video that I made on Red Dead Online. But I'm surprised at how overall constructed and concise it was, especially since, again, I don't script my videos, guys. All this was unscripted, and I'm pretty sure you guys can tell from all the stutters and breakaways and stuff like that. So because of that, honestly, I'm surprised at how well I did it. And I will continue to make more videos like this because I do love doing them, and there are interesting topics to do. And I've been wanting to do this video for quite some time, but I never really had the time or chance to until I was able to finally play GTA Online fully. And I already had some footage from Red Dead Online, so adding those elements together really helped bring this video to life. And honestly, I couldn't have done it without the support of you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I really love you all and supporting my channel, and I hope that I can continue with the support. We already reached 100 subs. I'm thinking we could get up to 500 subs sooner or later. It's going to happen, God willing. So thank you guys so much for that. But honestly, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below on what you guys think. And heck, if you guys have videos you want to make regarding that, do it. I want to see other people's perspective on this. And honestly, you can even make a response video to this. I'm fully free of that. You can even use some of the footage I have in my videos. Like, excuse me, do that. Honestly, I don't really mind. I like seeing new perspectives. It's interesting to me. And while, you know, I will have some bias and whatnot, at the end of the day, I'm fair. And I do enjoy Red Dead Online more. And I do personally believe that Red Dead Online is a better game for me personally. At the end of the day, I can look past my bias and my personal preference and understand that both of these games are equally good for each other, and they hold a special place in many people's hearts who are who have a preference for these kinds of games. It's really just these two specific genres, atmosphere, and type of games and tone of the games that they're going for. So without further ado, without me yapping, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And I'm gonna leave this off with a quote that I created for myself that I had to think about real quick. In the world of gaming, the only deciding factor of what goes and what does not go is you. You are the one that decides what game to play, what game to not play, which one is good, which one is bad. And it's up to you to choose whether you want to make a difference or pertain amongst the crowd. That didn't make any sense per se, but you know what? I'm pretty sure someone out there got what I was trying to say and could better refine my quote and make it sound much more better and philosophical and I guess what's the word? Motivational, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye now. Sonic.